The Phillies just keep on winning. But can they keep it going here? We're going to talk about it. Stay tuned. This is CrustyK from the Go Boys Network coming to you with the MLB slate preview for April 23rd. I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Sleeper Picks, but more on that later. Let's dive right into this slate. The first game is the Guardians take on the Boston Red Sox. This is Ben Lively versus Tanner Huck. These guys just saw each other in their last starts. Huck had a complete game shutout, and Lively was more than serviceable in his first start in the majors in over 2 years. Typically in these spots, I like to back the hitters because you have quite the advantage seeing these guys for the fifth and sixth time most likely. So for me here, I lean to the over. I know Huck was lights out, complete game, 9-inning shutout, but I just think he's going to struggle here. Like I said, these hitters have an advantage. They just saw these guys. It's fresh. It's more at-bats against the same guy. So give me the over. Our next one is the Phillies taking on the Reds. This is Christopher Sanchez versus Andrew Abbott. So for me here, the Phillies have struggled against left-handed pitching, but Abbott hasn't looked great. The strikeout stuff really hasn't been there, and command has been an issue similar to last year. So I think the first thing you look at here is Abbott walks. I think he's going to struggle, obviously, with this Phillies team. They're pretty patient, have a lot of guys who can, force long counts, extended bats, and work out free passes. On the flip side, Christopher Sanchez, he already pitched against this Reds team once at 8 Ks and was pretty nasty. His changeup was doing some work. So for me here, it's been long enough where I think you look at his Ks once again. This Reds team just not super disciplined. And if he has that changeup working, he's going to be able to run him up, once again here. So Sanchez Ks, Abbott walks, and for me, the Phillies keep on winning. What's going on, everybody? I just want to take this moment to give a special shout out to our sponsor, Sleeper Picks. Thank you for sponsoring this video. And don't forget, you can use code GOLDBOYS for a $500 deposit match on your first deposit. Thank you, Sleeper Picks, for sponsoring this video. Now back to the bets. The next one is the Milwaukee Brewers taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates. This is Tobias Myers versus Bailey Falter. Tobias Myers getting called up because Miley went on the IL with elbow inflammation. This would be his major league debut if they decide to pitch him. I am seeing some rumors that he may be like in a piggyback situation where he comes in, after the first inning. Regardless, Myers has been pretty good in the minors, 1.62 ERA in 16 innings. More than serviceable. This Pirates team not swinging the bats that well. And I think at least, the first time through the order, he can, keep him in check. So if he does start this game, I do like the Brewers in the first 5. I think they can get to Falter. Falter has been serviceable, but again, Brewers hitting the ball pretty well against left-handed pitching. I think they can get to Falter. I think Tobias keep these guys off balance just from not being very familiar with them. So Brewers in the first 5. Our next one is the Dodgers taking on the Nationals. This is James Paxton versus Patrick Corbin. I don't think I've ever seen a matchup with two bigger turkey tossers going head-to-head. Give me the over. Both these guys love to put guys on base, love to, see a ton of base traffic. I think we're going to see runs here. Paxton coming off a start where he had 8 walks. Corbin, obviously, we all know, National Patrick Corbin Day is practically a holiday. Give me the over. Give me runs and, take hitters from both sides. I think you could, make quite the hit parlay on this one. Our next one is the Detroit Tigers taking on Tampa Bay Rays. This is Kenta Maeda versus Ryan Pepiot. I'm a big Pepiot guy. I love him going to the Rays. Their coaching staff, one of the best in all baseball, in my opinion. Really good at obviously developing pitchers, as we've seen with a whole bunch of homegrown guys, as well as getting Pepiot from the Dodgers, who was good but not great. He really seems to have turned a corner here with the Rays. So for me in this one, I think you look at Pepiot Ks. You get Tigers team, horrible in terms of Ks, even worse on the road. 6th highest chase rate, bottom 5 in contact percent. Great spot for him and his changeup to just, absolutely mow these guys down. The flip side, Maeda hasn't been great. Is this a spot where he gets a little better? I mean, the Rays, the lineup is not scaring me right now. They have the same guys, they have the same names, but nobody's hitting. If there was ever a get-right spot for the Rays bats, in my opinion, it's right here. We've seen Maeda pitch 4 starts, I believe, and ton of hard contact in every single start. So for me here, I lean the Rays, and I like Pepiot strikeout. Our next one is the Oakland Athletics taking on the New York Yankees. This is Paul Blackburn versus Marcus Stroman. Great pitching matchup here. Two guys who, work fast, keep the ball in the ballpark, pitch deep into games for their respective clubs. Give me a first 5 under. Back these two aces to, keep this one low scoring, probably keep it 0-0 through 5, 1-1 through 5. It's going to be low scoring in my opinion. Yankees lineup, they're not swinging it well, as we just saw against JP Sears today. He looked like Cy Young. So, and on the other side, Stroman, he hasn't been great, but obviously it's Oakland. They don't scare me. It's a good bounce back spot for him. So give me the first 5 under and pitching outs for both guys. I think both guys go 6+. Rather easy. Our next one is the Miami Marlins taking on the Atlanta Braves. This is Trevor Rogers versus Max Fried. Both these guys have seen these teams at least once already this season. For me here, I think you go with Fried at home. I'm not a big fan of his strikeouts, just not a big strikeout guy. Marlins not terrible in terms of Ks anymore, so not the greatest spot for somebody like Fried, but I think his pitching outs. Trevor Rogers, I probably finds a way to get to his strikeouts. It seems like everybody against the Braves is getting 5 or 6 regardless of what they do otherwise. I think my best look though, because the money line is likely too juiced to play, would be like a Max Fried record a win. I think he can go 6-7 innings here. His team should have the lead against Trevor Rogers, and he picks up the win. The next one is the Toronto Blue Jays taking on the Kansas City Royals. This is Kevin Gausman versus Michael Wacha. Gausman looked pretty good in his last start against the Yankees. Definitely seemed like the Gausman of old, the one that everybody's waiting to see. Velo was back up to close to where it normally is, but still down a tick. Tough Royals team here, though, so I'll be curious to see what he does. On the flip side, Michael Wacha, obviously heavy changeup guy, pitch to contact, should be able to work pretty quick against this Jays lineup who likes to put the ball in play. So for me here, I think the best spot is Michael Wacha, his outs. I think he could pitch, 6 innings in this one. Truthfully, on the other side, I think I lean under on Gausman K's. He got lucky against the Yankees, in my opinion, because they take a lot of pitches, and they were taking a lot of borderline ones, and he was getting the benefit of the doubt on the calls from the umpire. This Royals team is a lot more aggressive, so he's not going to get those called strike calls. Expect him, like I said, to struggle a little bit here, and expect Walker to pitch deep into this one. Our next one is the White Sox taking on the Twins. This is Eric Fetty versus Pablo Lopez. This is another spot where the White Sox just don't have the pitching to take advantage of the matchup. So although the Twins super, high K percent, Fetty's just not that guy. Fetty's not the guy to take advantage of that. Twins not swinging the bats well though either. So it's going to be gross, but I think you look at like a first 5 under. Twins bats not really doing anything. White Sox obviously not doing anything. They've been shut out 7 times right this season. So give me a first 5 under. Give me Pablo Lopez outs and pretty small lean to his Ks. He's going to see a lot of lefties, and I don't really like the splits for him going against lefties. So outs in the first 5 under. Our next one is the Houston Astros taking on the Chicago Cubs. This is JP France versus Jordan Wicks. This is an interesting spot. There's a pretty high chance of rain for this one, so we'll see if it goes. But both guys giving up a lot of contact, giving up a lot of balls in play. Cubs obviously at home, much better hitting team. Astros mashed left-handed pitching. So for me here, I think he rolled the over. JP France has been getting touched up, left and right, pretty much every matchup he's had. On the flip side, Wicks has looked pretty good, but he hasn't faced a lineup like the Astros yet. So I expect the Astros to get to him. I would look at Wicks under his Ks. And like I said, game total over, team total is over for both teams. There's going to be a lot of runs in this one. Our next one is the Arizona Diamondbacks taking on the St. Louis Cardinals. This is Logan Allen versus Steven Matz. This is not the Logan Allen of the Cleveland Guardians. This is a different Logan Allen who is also a lefty. He's more of a long reliever, but he's going to make a spot start here with Ryan Nelson going on the IL. He is stretched out to probably be able to give him at least 5 innings. So I would say, it'll be as close to a true start as any bullpen guy can give any team. That being said, Cardinals, typically you'd want to target them against left-handed pitching, but they're obviously not hitting the ball very well right now. So Logan Allen, he's not great, but I think you can keep Diamondbacks in this one. On the flip side, you have Steven Matz, who just saw this Arizona team, and for me, I lean Diamondbacks here. On the road, I know, but Steven Matz I don't think he's as good as the numbers have shown, and I think he's just due for more of that regression that we've kind of started to see with him. So give me the Diamondbacks to win this one, and give me Matz under his strikeouts. Our next one is the Seattle Mariners taking on the Texas Rangers. This is Logan Gilbert versus Dane Dunning. I don't know how you can't look at Dane Dunning's strikeouts here with how bad Seattle's been. 30.7% K rate versus right-handed pitching this season. Highest in the league by a couple percent. And metric-wise, bottom 5 in pretty much all swing metrics that I look at. So Dane Dunning K's definitely in play here. On the flip side, Logan Gilbert is a guy I love to back, but I'm just not sure I can back him in this spot against Texas. They haven't been great, and depending on the line they put out, they can be pretty K-friendly. But overall, as long as it's the normal guys, it's tough to trust him for his strikeouts. I think best look for Logan Gilbert would probably be his pitching outs. I think he can go 6 innings here, even against a dangerous Texas lineup. Our next one is the San Diego Padres taking on the Colorado Rockies. This is Michael King versus Ryan Feltner. I don't think I could ever back the Rockies against, even if it was a little league team. So for me here, it's the Padres or nothing. Michael King had a great start his last start. He's been pretty good this whole season. I think he can have his way with this Rockies team. They're not swinging the bats well at all, not making any contact, and against right-handed pitching, the worst offense in all baseball currently. On the flip side, Padres, number-wise, they look decent, but for me, I haven't seen enough to where I can, want to trust them. So small lean to the Padres here. I think Michael King pitches well. If you want to look at his strikeouts, I don't think you can go wrong there. Our next one is the Baltimore Orioles taking on the Los Angeles Angels. This is Grayson Rodriguez versus Griffin Canning. I think you look at G-Rod K's here. You got the Angels, who, one of the highest K rates in baseball, top 5, and bottom 10 in overall contact percent. So Grayson Rodriguez, he can get to like a little bit of a groove where he just kind of pitches the contact and he'll, get a lot of quick outs. But in this particular spot, I don't think it'll matter. You have the Angels with an extremely high whiff rate, and they should just be able to generate Ks even if he's in the zone. Griffin Canning, I have a lot lot of concerns. He throws a lot of junk, but I'm not sure that it's going to work against this Orioles team, who's probably going to be pretty lefty heavy, and they should be able to, get the bats going against them. So an Orioles team total or a Grayson Rodriguez strikeouts, I think, are both great looks this one.
Wait, before we get back to the picks, I wanted to thank you all for watching. Friends don't let friends watch videos without hitting the like button. So go ahead and press the thumbs up button and like the video. If you're new here and not subscribed, you should go ahead and do so because we're dropping new content each and every day on the Gold Boys Network. We strive to cover every sport and give out picks and analysis and valuable information for free on the Gold Boys Network. So make sure you're subscribed and hit the bell so you can get notified when we drop something new. I'm Brad Thomas. Let's get back to the picks.
Our last one on the slate is the New York Mets taking on San Francisco Giants. It's Luis Severino versus Logan Webb. I'm having a pretty hard time believing that Luis Severino's back, but he's pitched well, and this Giants team not really hitting the ball, so I think his outs could be in play. The biggest concern is they do see a lot of pitches, so if he's outside the zone and walking guys, obviously it's going to run up his pitch count pretty quick. Flip side, Logan Webb at home, you have to back his outs. It's almost an auto play at this point. He just pitches deep into games at home. In terms of strikeouts, Mets not K'ing a ton, but if Logan Webb's at his typical 4.5, 5.5, he always seems to cover those regardless of who it's against, so I don't think you can go wrong there either. That does conclude the slate, though. If you guys liked what you heard, drop a like, drop a comment. Let us know what we can do better. As I mentioned before, it's going to be a daily thing. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. And remember, if you have a gambling problem, dial 1-800-GAMBLER. Thanks, guys.